Hi, everybody. I'm so excited to be here. I'm excited because I have, as Dr. Pollard has said, I have had the chance to meet with many of you all individually and in group settings. Actually, over 400 people on my listening tour, and then I've had an opportunity to meet with many students in my Pizza for Your Thoughts sessions. So I'm excited to continue that work. So what have we done since I've been here? Well, we established this office, as you know. We've also established the President's Advisory Committee on Equity and Inclusion. Are any members of the advisory committee here? Would you please stand up if you are? Let me just give a shout out. Thank you all so much. And where's our illustrious chairperson, Dr. Deborah Bright? Hi there, thank you so much. Wow, this committee has been so awesome. So over 100 people applied to be on this committee, and of course we couldn't take 100. So in scaling back, I was trying to figure out, well, how do we keep all of the people that are really interested in this work on this committee? And Dr. Kane and I sat in a room, and we talked about dividing it into subcommittees. And so we ended up with 50 people on this committee. And you'll hear a little bit more about how we're breaking this work up in just a second. So what is this committee supposed to do? Well, develop an equity and inclusion master plan and developing an action plan for responding and implementing recommendations from the Equity and Inclusion Survey. So in terms of the recommendations, those recommendations are so important for moving this work forward. That we actually decided that we had a 2-year time frame. We decided that we were going to provide some short-term recommendations by the end of this semester, and then we will be following that up with final recommendations. But there are some things that we wanted to be responsive to immediately that came out of the survey that we did. So the plan will be an integral part of every academic discipline, administrative unit, and partnerships. And its themes will become commonplace in our practice and our policies throughout the college. So what are our tasks? Well, it includes reviewing the survey results and feedback, and evaluating current data and institutional information, and then, of course, proposing these recommendations. I am expecting it to be a living document, that it's iterative, that it's informed by discoveries made through these listening tours that I mentioned with staff, faculty, administrators, union leaders, our student groups, governance councils, discussions with peer institutions, and our best practice research. You get a chance in just a second to hear a presentation from the Pizza for Your Thoughts sessions. I had the opportunity to receive over 640 comments from students during these sessions. These sessions were held at lunchtime and at dinner time, on all 3 campuses. And we're going to hear from some student actors that are reading these comments now.
Montgomery College is a great place for low-income students who want to further their education but are limited by financial troubles, but have the necessary drive and academic abilities.
The Germantown campus of Montgomery College is a peaceful, fair place. This semester will be my 6th semester, and I've never encountered any treatment or attitude I would consider unfair. On a scale of 1 to 10, I will rate Montgomery College Germantown 10.
MC is very inclusive because it's a space where any person can share with different people from different countries and cultures.
There should be a greater emphasis on transferring out of a 2-year college to a 4-year. If counselors were better informed, that would help all students at MC. Too many young people do not know their options. This treatment does not support the members of our community who do not receive the transfer information from home.
Montgomery College is a diverse institution, and I love how it is diverse. However, I don't like how some counselors conduct themselves with students. They do not care about students.
Open up the gym again for students and maybe a wellness program for staff and students.
Have cheaper food prices. I'm already paying to learn.
Certain teachers should be more focused and direct with their work. They can be very misleading about course assignments sometimes.
Handicapped students seem to face challenges getting around. The school could use more places for students to go between classes other than the cafeteria.
Every professor at MC treats their students fairly. However, some grade unfairly. For example, a professor misses 4 or 5 classes but is willing to fail 50% of the students on a test they have little to no help to prepare for.
The MC shuttle has become a very helpful tool at MC. I think I speak for all shuttle departing students when I say that they need to run more of them.
Despite having 3 campuses, they do a great job with their shuttle service, and the ride-on is a definite lifesaver.
MC is very accessible and flexible when it comes to different class schedules. It's great when you can make time for school and then do other things that you do in your everyday life.
MC has shown an overall interest in the education for all students. However, I don't think it's a good idea when professors have favorite students and show greater interest in the well-being of them instead of not showing bias.
My professors have been extremely inclusive of all students. MC has been doing a good job lately by hosting events that celebrate diversity.
The campus can be a little more active with students, providing more information about events, and can really make a difference.
Where's the fun at? Well, due to the fact that Montgomery College doesn't really have a lot of students involved in clubs, there should be some events like a fall dance or a winter dance for everyone to attend and just keep the entertainment going, because MC doesn't really have any fun celebrations.
Can we talk about how there was no Black Student Union Club at the club fair? How are Black students really being represented here?
The environment at MC is extremely friendly. I have never met such a kind and helpful community. The staff here treat you like you're important, and they also do their best to help. The professors are also very encouraging and lenient. They treat you like a friend rather than just a student.
MC has made my college experience perfect from beginning to end. From good professors to fun events, MC has done a great job of taking care of students. What I would recommend is better notifications as far as emergencies.
The summer session refund policy is crazy.
There is a high degree of equality in the school. The experience of all 3 campuses have not felt different in any of them. All cultures are properly respected.
The professors are very enthusiastic about their profession, but some only teach a certain way. It would be helpful if they had to use different methods of teaching throughout the semester.
Different students have various learning abilities. To help them succeed, the evaluations that are filled out by students at the end of the semester need to be made available for them to view prior to signing up for the class.
Ink is expensive. We should get a couple of free printings per semester. Students can provide ID to keep track of how many they have used.
Why don't teachers inform you about the next move for the next semester?
So there you have it. Give it up for our student actors. Some are in the building today. So while all of these comments came in to me via index cards, Post-its, and some text messages and emails, the student actors really shared what some of those comments really reflected. So our master plan recommendations, these recommendations will be designed to improve civility, intergroup connections, climate, completion rates, recruitment, retention, procurement, our workforce partnerships, policy, public discourse, and leadership for all Montgomery College students, faculty, staff, administrators, alumni, and external partners. We'll be doing this work, as I mentioned, through subcommittees. The President's Advisory Committee is working through 8 subcommittees currently. The Student Experience and Campus Culture Subcommittee will be examining reported experiences of MC students and employees, such as the Student Voices roundtable that was held in 2016, as well as the Equity Inclusion Survey and focus group results. We are breaking some of these student comments down into more focus group areas because students actually requested to come talk to me more about their thoughts about equity and inclusion. So we have a couple of student focus groups I'm excited about. We'll also be developing recommendations that will foster more equitable and inclusive college culture and enhance student experience. So our Business Practices and Procurement Subcommittee is there to recommend policies and procedures and practices to be more inclusive of underserved businesses, women-owned businesses, small businesses, disability-owned businesses, veteran-owned small businesses, LGBTQ, and diverse businesses of all types. We're also considering MC's responsibility in helping our underserved businesses and economic growth in designated enterprise zones. Our Faculty, Teaching, and Curriculum Committee will be working to establish priorities for the college to offer cutting-edge course content and effective faculty pedagogy, which meets student and staff needs for diversity, equity, and inclusion. We're also going to have a Human Resources Committee. As a result of the Equity and Inclusion Survey, there were so many comments regarding the topics that you see here around recruiting, hiring, retention, and succession planning. So we thought it was important to have a subcommittee to address those issues. It's our responsibility to ensure that diversity and inclusion principles are infused throughout the hiring processes at Montgomery College. And then our nationwide best practices and peer institution subcommittee. This subcommittee is also going to be evaluating some of the work that we're currently doing, assessing the recommendations at benchmark times, and looking at resources to fund the recommendations. Our Reports and Communications Subcommittee is designed to take a look at the reporting needs and requirements of not only Middle States, but MHEC and Montgomery County Council's Office of Legislative Oversight. Our Training, Dialogue, and Events and Celebrations Subcommittee is designed to create a safe and inclusive college community by deepening and enhancing the level of discussion and training around diversity and inclusion issues. And one of the things that we heard through the Equity and Inclusion Survey was that the multicultural training requirement is somewhat vague, and we need to do a little bit more work in terms of putting some structure and meat and defining that more. And so that's what we'll be doing through this committee. One of the things I wanted to point out is the second bullet in terms of expanding cultural program offerings that reflect our values and creating space for differing viewpoints regarding political ideology. And then our Workforce Development and Community Engagement subcommittee is the 8th subcommittee. And it really will be looking at how we continue these deliberate dialogues. Dr. Pollard, as many of you know, started a dialogue series last year, and this committee is seeking to address those head on and get in front of some of the topics of the day. Also serving as a think tank and resource for community in response to current trends and help work to resolve issues. Also in terms of marketing the college, I think you heard George Payne talk a little bit about how we were utilizing CPOD and training, et cetera, and this committee will be looking to help with that. Some additional initiatives that we'll be looking at through the equity and inclusion lens include a thorough examination of the honorary degree recipient selection process to the cultivation of a more diverse board of trustees. So at the end of all of this work, in a couple of years, we will have a final master plan for equity and inclusion. You will also hear the specific recommendations and key findings from the Equity and Inclusion Survey in this afternoon session. I'm really excited to share that with you. We had about almost 30% response rate, and I'm going to walk you through some of the recommendations that the president has decided to move forward on immediately, and also some things that, that were interesting in that survey. So our successful performance is predicated on the effectiveness with respect to cultural competency and where social justice prevails of employees at every level of the institution. And our goal is to uphold a culture that values civil discourse, safe environment for sharing, and one that observes, measures, and rewards success so that we can create an extraordinary educational institution. Thank you so much for listening to me today.